A very warm welcome to all the participants to this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Hope all is well at your end. I welcome all our participants to this exciting series where HR Association of India, along with Great Manager Institute, brings before you the 2021 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Leading People in Current Times. Great Manager Institutes conduct a Great People Manager survey in India and have come up with the list of top 100 managers, and the recognition is powered by Forbes India and Great Manager Institute, where we are fortunate to have five managers from this esteemed list who would be sharing their success stories, mantras, hits and misses, and achievements over the leading their team in current times. To know more about HRI, HR Association of India and Great Manager Institute, I would request all our participants to visit the link and the details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It is my privilege to introduce Mr. Srinath Gururajarao, VP and CHRO Nextwell Private Limited. I would like to congratulate him over his achievement. Srinath Gururajarao is CHRO in Nextwell Group, a mortgage banking and media service organization with a personal philosophy of more smiles per hour at work for success. He comes with rich experience in strategy execution, innovation, and people practices. He has authored seven intellectual properties in human resource and has been leading leadership roles in the media, information technology, and banking industry. He is appreciated for people-friendly culture and that he has been able to build at the organization. You can follow him on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Once again, congratulations, sir. We are extremely excited to have you over here. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sham. Thank you, Great Manager Institute and HRAI for giving me an opportunity to share some of the experiences uh, towards building the great manager workforce that is evident in today's corporate world. Who is a great manager? Uh, all of us are at the heart, right? But in the course of realizing that dream, one tends to face many an obstacle which tests our skill, will, and experience, and also the ability to persist some of them. Just to give you a brief about what we do as an organization, Nextwell is a mortgage banking services organization. We are into mortgage as well as media as a group organization. We are headquartered out of Calcutta. We are a great place to work 2 years in a row, and also top 100 organizations with great managers institute. I'm really proud of the organization because we are not only a place of work where people passionately come and perform their day-to-day official work with a lot of heart, but also very proud to say that we are one of the organizations which have great people managers, right? We are, I mean, that's something that I take a lot of personal pride in to be able to share with you all. What did that transformation bring in and how was it enabled? Primarily, we, you know, the the underlying factor of managing and driving a people workforce is to honor the talent in each individual, to look at each individual and their unique abilities is a hallmark of every manager. If you are able to look at your people and their unique strengths, that is when you actually will be able to transform that talent into actual reality and the vision that you are set for the organization, for your people. Uh, a manager needs to ensure that the problems that surface during the course of a journey are collectively addressed, understood. And when I say understood, it is only possible when you lend your ears and not trust your views. When we tend to trust our views and not lend our ears, we are in an echo chamber hearing only ourselves and not uh, tuned to the aspects of people around you. A manager needs to understand the unique abilities of each individual and then capitalize that on making something more meaningful than where we started. I look at it as a chessboard where each piece comes together on the board, but each one has its own unique way, a unique move, a unique path, right? That is how diverse the board is. And similarly with a given team, each individual is different, but you're bound by a certain culture that we all have to make our goal transform into reality and under success. Towards that, how do we make those unique abilities perform for us collectively without uh, you know uh, not collaborating with each other is the talent that is essential. Nextval has been able to drive these energies, bring a lot of heart into the table, and especially last couple of years that we have been transforming ourselves. We have put our policies behind, we have put our practices in the front, and we have put heart into all the practices that we have. For example, I would say HR, which I drive, which drives the talent in the organization. We were, renewing medical insurance, right, which is a key component forever. I mean, anybody falling sick would need support on their medical insurance. So, how does you set a goal for an every year activity to be able to transform the lives of well-being of people, which is so prime today? When I reflect back 3-4 years back when we took up this initiative, it was not so very prominent because your rate of illness was still manageable. It was still in the single digits. Therefore, we worked on our team to be able to bring a unique practice, tying up with insurance providers, and also utilize the AI engine from Watson IBM to be able to do an actuarial study and reinforce that onto a win-win situation for all the employees. This was only possible because each member of my team understood the value that they were creating for everybody's well-being, right? So that was a war cry that was there to how do we make the insurance provider be happy? How do we make our employees happy? How do we make our organization happy? At the end of the day, everybody is a win-win scenario. So this was one practical challenge that we solved being together. This was only possible when we understood that we could do this by utilizing the tools, coming together, understanding the problem in more depth, design thinking the problem to construct a contract which made a difference by using the actual science and segregating the components of repeatable illness and non-repeatable illness, right? So therefore, and also attach a predictive, preventive maintaining mechanism where doctors and medical practitioners came and advised our group of employees for specific types of regional based possibility of illnesses recurrence, right? So this was possible only when the team came together. So collaboration, driving collaboration, bringing your people together is a trait every great manager should have. Individual skills will take you up to a point beyond which your ability to bring your people together, influence the people, and make them collaborate with each other to make a difference in the lives of the people around, including your own teams, will make a big difference. And that is how I look at it for anybody aspiring to be a great manager. If you are just very good at your own skill, you will reach to a point where you are the best individual contributor. But the moment the landscape changes, the moment you say that I am a people manager, I am a great manager, how do I manage? Managing is not just managing, it is delighting your environment, delighting your stakeholders, delighting your team, and delighting yourself for doing good in your immediate environment, in your society, in your stakeholder organization, right? So therefore, the ability to climb up these layers, climb up from an individual excellent resource to be able to rally your people, influence them with a great vision, collaborate with them using the latest tools that are available to be able to bring those best practices and transform that activity which might look mundane insurance renewal is an every year activity. Every organization does this and have been doing it for ages now. How do I bring a vision which is different? How do I bring a vision where each individual employee's well-being is at the heart of that exercise? The dynamics completely changes in terms of a vision. Now it is not just a renewal of a contract, but it is the well-being that I'm talking about. I am talking about the well-being of employees, their dependents, their families, and that has a immediate translatable ROI to the organization itself. I might sound very selfish when I say that, but everybody is a winner in this, transformation. So therefore, a manager needs to bring essential, unique abilities of each team member to the fore to be able to influence, construct a vision which not only performs the mundane with more beautiful, design, and then touch and transform lives. I think that is at the heart of being a great manager. Some of the things that I wanted to share was also when you don't challenge your team enough, their skills will not completely be exposed to the necessities of an organization. Every organization goes through changes. Every organization faces the VUCA environment, the volatile, uncertain times that we are going through. And how do you respond to these times of uncertainty? Only a team coming together, working together, transforming together should be able to do that. Now, the moment of truth changes when I say that this uncertainty can be handled effectively only by way of innovation, right? That I is not me, that I is innovation in an information age, right? And how do I translate that piece of innovative ability to be able to bring out the creativity from the best of the members that you have is the hallmark of a great leader, right? Everybody might not have the same skill set, but what they have as a set is the unique ability in them, right? How do you know, understand, and capitalize on that unique ability to drive innovation is the hallmark. Now, I will not, theorize everything. I'll give you some examples that we did. How did we do that? We had this simple exercise called Storians, right? It's a word blended from story and experience, right? So we get together every Thursday as a team, spend an hour and discuss various stories that we have heard about corporate transformation. Anywhere, everywhere, information is all over the place. You get to hear it, you read it, and you come and share it. Then come and discuss, okay, if I do this, how do I translate it into my organization? What are the best practices? Now, if I only discuss, mundane things, the hygiene things, those are essential too. But if I don't bring in that dream into the minds of my people, I don't necessarily rally the influence that is essential to transform. I say transform is so vital because innovation is only the sustaining tool in an uncertain world. If I don't innovate, I'm actually running behind. I am not even there where I should be. Therefore, as a leader, as a great manager, the ability to get your people to create, get your people to innovate is very, very, very essential. Now, that drives the behavioral changes that are necessary and gives them a larger than life vision to be able to come and be part of that whole journey. Now, participation and ensuring that they are feeling a part of that whole transformation is also very vital, from understanding the minds of people that you are working with, right? The hierarchies today are not of titles and authority. Hierarchies today are what you know better, how much you can rally together, and how much you can change. Those are the things that command the true respect and collaboration that is essential. So this is most essential when, as a great manager, we are able to ensure that people come with you, work with you, and transform. So Storians was one other exercise. Then we have something called as culture me, right? It might sound very strange. Why do I say, culture me? So culture me was a initiative to get our people form great habits together and also be unique in themselves. So we borrowed principles of Howard Gardner, where he theorized on multiple intelligences. Right, when I trigger multiple intelligence in an individual, you are actually bringing out all the strengths of an individual to the maximum potential that can create possibilities. So we used that principle and coined a practice called as culture me, which enabled me to be able to find those common threads in more numbers, right? Earlier it was work, it was, I am an executive in X department, I am a manager in Y department, I am, XYZ, which was mostly associated with work. So we grouped together in multiple forms where we formed passion clubs based on this multiple intelligence theory. And Culture Me was an initiative to bring out those facets and increase the bonding. Of course, when the digital disruption took place with the pandemic, kicking all of us out from our offices, we were forced to have these digital sessions. We have Bharatanatyam sessions, we have singing sessions, though it might look very mundane. Some people make, memes out of HR, driving only Rangoli sessions. It is not that. It is bringing out something which is unique, which that individual really enjoys apart from work. So this helped us rally together, teams together, and make the environment and the culture of the organization more conducive for diverse culture and inclusive nature. So thereby making my managers, making my own team, be part of something different, which is not identified by authority or by title, right? So you're giving them a different identity altogether, but that is helping them bond better and hence increase the influence within the organization, especially in a remote environment, remote working environment. Now, for the session, we are still working from home 100% of the time. We just passed through cyclone yesterday. We were 100%, up and working. Even last year when we had Amphan in Calcutta, we were down for 1.5 day, and then we got up really quick. So that those resilience, those points of change, those points of facing an uncertain environment makes the bond that is essential very, very high. In a remote environment, this initiative has led us to change a lot of ways that we work, a lot of ways that we collaborate with each other. I might be sounding repetitive, but these are really the nuts and bolts of great leadership, right? Another one, Indian philosophy taught us, to discard 8 key points which are kind of negative traits: your anger, your greed, your jealousy factors, XYZ, right? They called it the Arishad Varga. So therefore, for a great manager, it is very also important to not put or bring those things to the surface when you are interacting with your team. When you're connecting, when you're communicating, you need to be really graceful. I have learned it from the strong women that are there in my family, my mother, my wife, my children. Therefore, as a leader, it is very important to have grace in your communication so that the message passes through without any noise to the individuals that you are interacting on a day-to-day basis. Then the impact is much higher than in a normal tone, just ordering things, right? It is not very, very pleasant, irrespective of what titles you carry. So great manager is also a good friend and an accomplice in accomplishing the journey that you are, doing. So these are some of the things that really worked for us. We also invested in people coming to the learning and development aspects of it. Last 4 years we have clocked 3 times more than the average learning hours that any other organization has done. When I say that, I come from a study. conducted along with many organizations by KPMG. And this we were able to do because we had already scaled up the digital learning environment fully. So all my people, along with myself, clock in learning hours, not because there is a force or a mandate, but because we are passionate about learning and creating that difference. Only learning keeps us going forward in ways really not charted before, and also understand those environments. So it is essential for a leader, a manager, to transform your people's hunger for learning, right? I say hunger because learning to learn is the biggest trait in modern times, because the pace at which the change is occurring because of the digital environment, it has amplified this rapid growth, rapid change that is taking place in the immediate surroundings. Therefore, to influence your people to learn continuously is very, very important. As a leader, therefore, you're not just satisfied with the day-to-day routine, but you have to be continually constructing challenges that challenges their skill, will, and ability to persist in different environments. This happens only when they learn how to fail and learn from that failure. Therefore, as a leader, we have unique experiments that we do with respect to what we do at work, and ability to give projects which are kind of challenging than the normal environment should be taken as a serious exercise by every manager who wants to transform their team. Only when your team becomes better than you is when you become better along with the organization. Therefore, ability to for the team to learn and keep that learning going in continuum is very, very important. So this is an investment which no organization should shy away from. And as a leader, you have to demand learning, sometimes even force it. I know learning by force is not something that transforms immediately, but as Indian culture shows, we have been doing it for thousands of years, right? It is a forced activity. Some of us came through those generations where it was forced, but then yes, that habit inculcates passion and drive, and once they are a little more mature in terms of understanding the necessity of learning, it becomes a part of them. Another important trait is to celebrate successes. Nelson Mandela taught us a word called servant leadership, right? When you celebrate, you let your team celebrate the joy of successes, and you are only driving those outcomes, not really taking away their reward from them and highlighting those. So it is very important that a great manager takes seriously the ability to appreciate, the ability to reward your people. A small thank you goes a long way than those mugs and certificates that come out regularly. I'm not saying it is not essential, but true appreciation need not be objectified. A true appreciation can still be uh, joining two minds together, two hearts together, and that is what a leader should strive for. Once you achieve that level of understanding, I think it is more meaningful than any other exercise. Uh, Connecting in digital environment is very, very important, uh, because 100% of the time, or at least most of the organizations now are working in the remote environment. Connecting, communicating, and then collaborating is very, very essential. 3 C's that I drive myself to. If you have a team, if you are not communicating apart from an email, uh, it is very difficult to understand the wedges between the words, right? There is no emotion there. Therefore, it is important to hear them laugh, hear them smile, hear them talk, and connect, so that you build that bridge. Tom Peters, the management guru, says that hard is soft, soft is hard, meaning what we do as a physical activity is arduous, but it is not hard. But what we do, connecting, communicating, collaborating, influencing, those soft factors are much harder to persist, right? Therefore, do not shy away from those, bring them, make them a habit as a manager to be able to connect with your people. It is very, very essential. If we don't communicate, a lot of things go unsaid, and we then go into the modes of perception, and then that damages a lot of decision making ability, and then you will be firefighting rather than progressing. So practicing effective communication is very, very important. Another aspect is to really have an authentic conversation about uh, performance, right? From time to time, on project to project, it is very, very essential to reflect back, because if you don't hold the mirror, you will never know what you find in that mirror or behind the mirror. Therefore, it is very, very important to look at your work, have a conversation which is authentic, be real, don't don't garnish your words which don't have an impact. Be authentic and rally behind. That is when the true change comes and understanding comes. One who does not understand, one who is not aware of the faults, will tend to repeat those faults. Therefore, it is true for a great manager, it is true for any manager, for a right? And uh, another important trait that I have found which has worked really well is to extend an arm of help when necessary, and that happens only when you understand your talent of people that you have with you. When I say that, not each member is capable of certain things. It is a complementing force which collectively works together. There might be pockets of failures, there might be pockets of inconsistencies, there might be pockets of gaps that you need to fill from time to time. Either you extend the arm of help or you find help so that those things can get facilitated. This happens only when you are aware about each individual in your team fully, right? And that takes time. It's not a one day's effort. As I said, it's a soft factor. It has to work its magic in building that trust, in building that force within to connect and align. Big words, but can be practiced, not difficult. It takes some time, but it does surely yield tremendous result. Another thing is when you challenge your team with assignments which are slightly larger than their abilities, they tend to seek for help. They tend to bring in that discrete energy because there is a great bond running, and they never fail you, right? So that's very important to have these things going. I think a great manager is somebody who puts his heart to the mind and then construct the environment. A strategy is effective in people management where you have a lot of heart. Being human is very important. Your humane approach to work is extremely important, especially in times of crisis. A leader stands behind in times of crisis and does not run away or delegate. So you need to know that there are definitely limitations to what an organization can do or go to what extent in extending or help to a needy person. But then what is doable is a force that you can really drive. During the pandemic, we had less than 2% of impact because we had already done those practices of constructing a beautiful service provider contract where doctors or medical practitioners were facilitating the well-being activities. This has transformed the overall well-being of the organization, and hence we had a great time. So what did we do? We unleashed that energy into helping the society that was going through the tough times. Again, societal cause is the larger than the organization effort, which brings your team together. Doing good has always made people feel good and be good. So encourage such activities as a leader. These are times where you bond together and create a better humanity in your surroundings. Wherever possible, find opportunities, explore, mine them, and convert them along with your team. Even a simple exercise of planting a tree together is so much joy, right? It's though from an activity perspective it might not look big, grand, whatever, but it is a simple gesture of contribution which helps all of us bring that smile on. Another philosophy, personal philosophy that I follow as a great manager is uh, more smiles per hour of work, right? A leader has to have humor. A humorless leader sometimes is perceived inhuman, right? Though some believe that yes, you create difficult moments for your people, they become better, but doing that with a smile brings that cheer very essential, and those filters of obstructing attitude falls off the grid. Then you are aligned totally with the personality of the talent, and you bring about a better result. So more smiles per hour of work is a philosophy that I have lived through for long years now. Whenever possible, I try and bring that up. Sometimes it really has worked well. Somebody asked me, how do you measure that? I said, if you have to measure the number of smiles per hour of work, the whole philosophy is dead there. You don't even have to measure them. It's ineffective, right? You don't measure how happy one should be, but you create that environment. That is how you should be. There are digital tools today, so it is good that you expose your team to the digital environment, make them understand technology has played in amplifying the good that we could do in a uh, limited scale earlier. So today tools have facilitated better coaching sessions, better understanding of human behavior, and has gamified some of the aspects. So we have this gamified environment for onboarding people assessment, right? So we drive personality assessment through a game, 11 games in 12 minutes, and then assess the personality and then drive up the strength charters out of that. So this has helped us a lot in terms of as a practice and amplified each person's ability to understand them and then work on that. So these are some of the things that we have done at Nextwell, and we continue to do, expand, and contribute in better ways. 2 years back, I think we had 12 in the first year. Second year, we had 18. This year, we have 30 managers, qualifying for the second round, which I'm very, very happy. So our journey with Great Manager has been excellent. It has opened understanding of our own people and their strengths in managing people much higher, and has contributed to real transformation on the ground. Even if one person is doing better today than yesterday, I think that's what we have to strive for, one person at a time. Of course, when the practice starts yielding results, you can always bring in technology to amplify that practice. So these are some of the threads. I would love to hear some questions now. I think I am almost done sharing my thoughts. I hope it was useful for you. I'm open to some questions so that we can have a more, a better conversation.
Awesome. So before we take our participants' question, we will be initiating a poll. Request all the participants to kindly share your feedback. While you're doing so, I would request all the participants to post your questions in the chat window. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our today's session. We have received a lot of inquiry about participations, e-certificate offered by HRAI and GMI. You can claim your e-certificates by sharing your details, that is name and session attended, in an email to the email address provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by 31st of May 2021. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received. Okay. Sir, so we have a question. This is from Sonam. Organizations have become very versatile and dynamic, which makes it important for us to move from transactional to transformational approach. How do we manage a multi-generation workforce in this culture?
Yes, I think excellent question. Technology that we understand today has actually leveled the generational approach. Now, every generation is bound to understand, operate, and optimize the technology layers that we work with. Those who do not skill up don't survive anymore. Therefore, from the outside in perspective, technology has actually helped multi-generational workforce to work together and given the same amount of effectiveness outside. So when I mentioned about the IBM's Watson being used for actuarial study of employee wellness and translating that to well-being of employee as well as families. This was taken up by multi-generational workforce because the technology layer was same. So there were multiple team members who worked on this, and to be able to bring in the actual decision data behind, converting them into intelligence and making the change necessary. So therefore, I think technology layer has made everyone generational agnostic, though the level of seriousness taken by the individual from different generations towards that approach might vary. But I would say the outside in approach is that technology has leveled the field of differences that are playing out to different generations, and hence that is a very welcome sign, because now everybody has to play on that field where it is on a big scale, and those who don't, it's part of evolution. So another thread on the same question was transactional to transformation. When transactions have been optimized, that is when transformation is possible, because transaction unoptimized still has opportunity to create excellence out of it. And only excellence comes out of any transaction only when it is understood fully. And when it is understood fully and it is habituated, it is persisting for long, creating pockets of excellence, then it translates into transformation, because your understanding is much better. You know all the stakeholders that are interacting with that transaction, and hence you'll be able to bring in that transformation essential.
Beautifully answered, sir. So there is another question coming up from Tushar. At one point of time, you mentioned about servant leadership. So he wanted to know how it is different from traditional leadership style.
Uh, Traditional leadership, servant leadership is more got to do with how you are always there to extend the arm of help and not just taking away the credit away from your team, right? You let your team take the reward and feel proud of achievements and be part of it rather than the whole of it, right? So that's, for me, is traditional, for me is servant leadership. Traditional leadership, I wouldn't say how they took the reward or recognition. Probably they were more conservative in distributing the success to their teams, and had been more selfish. So a servant leadership is where you are always there, supportive to your team's activities and efforts, but credit goes to the team, and that is when team feels really comfortable and sees you as a persona that is trustworthy, authentic, and also giving. And when that happens, the bonds really yield great results. I hope I have been able to answer that question.
Yes. Uh, Wonderful. And so there is one more question coming from Sachin. The centralized organization, how middle manager can contribute in decision making, how they will be able to raise their voice to management. I mean, to reach their suggestions or their ideas to the management, to the higher management.
Yeah, I think the centralized organization is slowly withering out. Why I say that, if you just look at our current realities, what was organization in between four walls in multiple cities, for example, or multiple countries, today it is distributed, it is one to one. Every individual is an office himself or herself, right? So therefore, a centralized mechanism really is ineffective in terms of writing the message or collaborating. So therefore, here what works much better is the culture, is the authentic leadership, is the ability to connect, communicate. Centralized systems earlier days used to empower the organization. Now it is the time to empower your employee, right? So the decision making should be from your employee, and then that's how it is seen in reverse. Organization can still hold the reins of the data, but now it is more distributed approach of leadership rather than a centralized system controlling all aspects of the organization. It is more driven by the employee themselves. Having your voice heard, don't raise your tone, but raise your level of intellect, level of interaction. Then automatically the voices are heard because the wisdom comes out with collaboration and experience.
Wonderful. Uh, and there's another question from Ritu. Can you suggest any online retention strategies?
I wish the retention strategy was online. It is not. It is right there in your heart. How do you want to retain your employees? How do you want to communicate, trust, and empower that person who really finds that there is something troubling him or something better outside? Right. So retention is out of the heart. There is no book which says, this is how you can retain a person. There's a great example that somebody said, you can read 100 books of how to swim, but you cannot go into water learning from it from the book. You will have to go into the water, swim for yourself, hold your breath, and then only you will be able to swim. So retention is something like that. You have to dive deep, understand that one individual truly, then only you will be able to make an effort to retain and align the person back to the organizational ethos. Strategy of retention is right through your heart. There's no other better way. There can be tools which says, probability of living. There can be tools which says, this person might need more rewards or more recognition. But then that is the understanding that you have to get either by technology or by communication. But you have to reach out. Without reaching out, without putting yourself in the other person's shoes, and before putting yourself in the other person's shoes, you have to remove your own shoes. Many a times we often forget that to look from the other side, I have to come out of my side. So it's a difficult proposition. It is a work in progress. It is not easy, but definitely doable. It is not undoable, but get your heart there. These are times that only that works in times of difficulty.
Very well said, sir. So this brings us to our next question. This is from Sarthak. In the age of machine learning and AI-based decision support system, how does HR play its traditional role of talent identification and retention when everything is becoming mechanical? Rather, how does HR face the challenge of AI to its own existence?
Great. I think I personally feel that technology is not a uh, replacing ideology, but it is only an augmenting ideology. Artificial intelligence was built by a human, is consumed by a human, is experienced by a human. Therefore, part of that chain, especially in talent acquisition, machine learning and AI gives you perspectives on which you can further probe and translate that into organizational success and bringing that talent, which is vital. Today, you could do it on a scale never before was it done. I think 2 years back, one of the organizations which launched video interviews on a large scale conducted 70,000 interviews in a span of 2 weeks, was able to shortlist people, make about 13, 14,000 offers across the globe, right? So that is the power of AI and machine learning, but it does not remove the human interface. Human intelligence, ultimately, the soft factors are better judged by a person than a machine. What is repeatable, what is mundane could be taken away by AI, irrespective of how intelligence there is, but it is still very, very linear and scalable. It is not multi-dimensional as what a human being could bring in in terms of craft, ability to understand the softer side of a person when he's interacting with you, how approachable that person is, what kind of culture is. These are some of the things that only a human being can do, and that matters a lot. That cannot be replaced by AI. Do not fear any technology, because any technology has only driven the human society upwards in terms of what we do, but has not entirely replaced, right? So nothing to fear. It is still a tool which is consumed by the human, designed by the human. There are limitations, there are biases that still play out an algorithm. I was part of a demo by a product company which wanted to share their AI-based recruitment tool. So I asked them, how does it judge, from selection to offer without a human interface? How does it understand success? So he said, the success algorithm is written or configured basis the recruiter that is present in the organization. So I said, wow, if the recruiter is making a mistake, then the AI is making the mistake, but not only making it, but amplifying that whole mistake, right? So there is still a lot of evolution that needs to take place. A human cannot be replaced fully. But yes, on a scale at a mundane level, you could still perform. Even to a slightly higher intellect level, you could still use these tools, and but cannot completely eliminate the human necessity to bring in those softer aspects, softer skills of evaluation to the table.
Beautifully answered, sir. There is one question again from Sonam. Keeping in mind the learning is indispensable these days, how can L&D develop an ecosystem in the organization so that people take full accountability of their learning and is not by force?
Yes, I think very beautiful question. Thank you so much, Sonam. I think learning, as I said, has to come from within, and that happens only when you see success that is tied to learning and the transformation that has taken place because of a learning. Now, it might not always take place in the time and space that you wish to see it, because after 20-23 years of education, we have been successful putting in another 20 years of work and then reached at some spot. Therefore, to really link or peg learning to immediate success is not possible. But I would say HR folks and leaders and managers should encourage learning, showcase learning events, showcase and brand transformation that has taken place because of learning. So we had this challenge of creating an ecosystem for learning which is not forced. So in the first year, what we did was we created a platform and said, we have a game where we recognize the highest learner number of courses. So you could devise what works for you, where you are kind of gamifying the learning exercise, which will enthuse your population, which will enthuse your employees to go and put that effort to be able to showcase learning. Another thing, we rolled out as a policy was not by force. We said, uh, you know, performance evaluation is a merit driven exercise, right? Merit gets that. Merit should include not only the KPIs, which are your immediate work, but also should encompass how much were you able to learn during the year. What did you learn? Did you learn all that you intended to do? How much of change did you bring because of that learning? So we created a performance evaluation method. It was kind of a nudge. We did not use it for rating changes or rating evaluation, but we said person who gets promoted will definitely have to have completed some learning exercises during the year. Best would be these courses. So it's kind of a soft nudge that we use, and it worked really well. So I think these are some of the techniques that could be used, but again, there is no single magic wand. It is how we create the environment, what culture we build to be able to encourage learning. I hope I have been able to answer you, Sonam.
Yes, sir. So there is one more question from Vicky Srinivas. In today's dynamic corporate world, is decentralization is more effective in order to involve the other managerial levels in decision making for more enhanced productivity and sustainability of the organization?
Absolutely. I think decentralization is no more far away objective. It is here and now. Without that, effectiveness of work is not going to be very high, because you need to have systems in place to be able to decentralize, and that is where the digital technologies come into play and change the whole environment. For example, we have tools which empower our employees with information about their work, and the entire day's quality, quantity, whatever they are measured on is reflected to themselves as well as to the organization. Though in earlier scenario, in a centralized environment, only the system knew what that person had done. But today it is both immediate, real time. So therefore, the correction, the interaction, the levels of engagement are quite higher, and it is also essential because of the pandemic environment controlling in a remote environment. Now again, these tools should not be tended to be abused by the entities to bring in demotivation. Somebody should not look at it as a snooping exercise to micromanage entities in a remote environment. This derides trust. While technology also plays to create, amplify the good, it can also be abused like this. So therefore, kindly avoid that. Empowering somebody with information about good and areas of improvement will always transform that individual, unless somebody is so lazy that they don't see the writing on the wall. So therefore, some of these techniques, definitely decentralization, for Miki Srivastava's question, decentralization is a way forward. It is here and now. If you are not there, it is time we took that journey and created a better place of work.
Thank you. So I don't see any more questions. So truly appreciated, Mr. Srinath, for all
Thank you.
that you have shared so delightfully. It was a great session, of course, and you know, key differentiating factors of great managers is in driving collaboration to achieve success. Thank you for sharing such great insights. It has been pleasure being with you today. I'm sure all of our participants have learned a lot of things and takeaways from this session. This session would not have been possible without Great Manager Institute, where we are privileged to be working with them on this series. Though we all know about Great Manager Institute, I would hand over the platform to Ms. Nilima, Chief Operating Officer, to share more on GMI.
Hello everyone, thank you Srinath. Sorry, my video today has some issues, so unfortunately will not be able to switch on. But Srinath, it was such a treat to listen to you. The way you deconstructed the traits of a great people manager, I don't think I would have been able to put it in so apt and beautiful words. It's all about connect, develop, and inspire. What struck me really, Srinath, is when you said that even if one person were to be better today than he or she was yesterday, I think that's the way to go, one person at a time, one impact at a time. So that's what we do at Great Manager Institute. Our vision is to create a world where every individual gets an opportunity to work with great people manager. So that's what we are working toward. It's a mission, it's a religion for all of us. We say that we are an organization. Our short-term goal is to be there for 1,000 years, because this is a mission which is truly going to impact everybody. It has an opportunity to impact everybody in the world. So this is what we do at Great Manager Institute. We have several offerings like an assessment or a certification that you can go through for yourself or the managers at your organization. In assessment, as you would be already aware by now, we are very honored to have Srinath in the top 100 great people managers list of 2020. This is a list that we publish every year with the likes of Forbes India, and the objective is to create the best aspiration possible for all people managers out there, that they can look up to, learn from, and imbibe some qualities in them, so that they are able to give a differentiated experience to their teams. So in assessment, what we essentially do is we understand the experience of working with you as a people manager from your stakeholders, and with effective benchmarks, you will be able to know what are your strong point areas and where you could do better. If you were to go for a certification, then after assessment, we also do a hand holding for you as a manager in terms of action planning, because this is where, you know, we lay a lot of stress upon, because it's not about what or why, it's about how you do things, right? Even in your daily interactions, how is it that you are going to give a great experience? So that's what we kind of partner with you for in the certification journey, and this is followed by a certification for the great people managers. Should you be interested to know more, please visit us at gmi.world, and we do have a code HRAI10 for you to punch in, so that we know that you have come from here and there are discounts for you on offer. Thank you so much. Thank you, HRAI and Sham, for doing this session wonderfully well. Back to you.
Thank you, Nilima, for letting us know about Great Manager Institute, and thanks for the benefits extended to HRI members. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Srinath, for this wonderful session. We would definitely love to host you again very soon. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, GMI, Nilima, Sham, for this, and HRAI for the wonderful session. I enjoyed the session, sharing my thoughts. I hope it helps the participants in making a small difference, and I would be so grateful. Thank you all. Be safe. Take care of your people very well. Thank you so much. Good day.
Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank all our participants for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass on the topic leading people in current times, a session by Mr. Srinivas Surapani, Vice President, Global Capability Center, HR Services, Global Human Resource, Schneider Electric. I request you all to kindly register for this event at the link mentioned in the chat window. Also, do join the Dialogue 2021 WhatsApp chat group through the invite link shared in the chat window. That's it from us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now. Thank you, Peter. We may hereby conclude the session. Thank you, Nihali.
Thanks, Sham.